The inscription of the Singapore Botanic Gardens as a UNESCO World Heritage Site has inspired authorities to do even more to strengthen conservation efforts in the gardens and around Singapore. Culture, Community and Youth Minister Lawrence Wong said this after the gardens received unanimous support for its bid from the World Heritage Committee in Bonn, Germany last week. After working on the bid for 5 years, it came down to the World Heritage Committee made up of 21 state parties. The Singapore Botanic Gardens had earlier been recommended to be inscribed by the International Council on Monuments and Sites, or ICOMOS, a panel of experts appointed by the World Heritage Centre to assess bids. But the overwhelming support from the committee took the Singapore delegation by surprise.
From the state parties, the professional bodies, shows that they recognize the efforts that we have made over the years in maintaining this very good balance between nature, heritage as well as urban development. And it will also motivate us to do even more to strengthen our conservation efforts both in the gardens and elsewhere in Singapore, and also to invest even more in heritage developments in Singapore.
And after all the 21 state parties had spoken, down came the gavel. The site became the third botanic gardens to be placed on UNESCO's prestigious list. This was met with resounding applause as members congratulated the delegation led by Culture, Community and Youth Minister Lawrence Wong. Heritage experts like ICOMOS say the accolade is the start of a journey for Singapore to ensure that the gardens is protected and that an expected rise in visitors is managed with education.
We can use standard signage, we can have the one-to-one experience of a volunteer guide, we can use electronic methods, apps, and we're actually doing all of these things already. What we have to do now is to ramp these up, to increase the amount we're doing, because clearly there will be more people coming with a hunger for knowledge about the garden.
In his speech thanking the committee for their support, the minister said the UNESCO listing is a wonderful Golden Jubilee present for the whole nation. A mother hugging her children under the enemy's plane, a classroom in wartime, a ruined temple after an air raid, or the bravery of the people in the face of invaders. Each picture, each image gives viewers insight into the life, work and struggle of the people of Vietnam in a time of war.
It really captures my attention with the red colour cross, and that actually, when I first look at it, the red actually, to me, it represents blood.
The owner of this collection is N. Paramiswaran, former Malaysian ambassador to Vietnam from 1990 to 1993. The former ambassador shares that the 41 art pieces displayed this time are just part of a 1,200-piece collection. He had collected the items from different provinces in Vietnam during his term in the country.
But when I go around Hanoi, I see all the posters, I go and see the shops, I see many memories of the war. I have many good Vietnamese friends, and then when I go to their houses, then you find out all of them lost somebody in the war, Then I go to drive outside the village, you see the special cemetery for the soldiers, who died in the war.
The artworks are arranged chronologically from the resistance war against the French to the liberation of the then South Vietnam and national reunification.
Asian Studies Department and also Yale NUS, so we provide the exhibition as a means for them to use for teaching as well. We have materials here where we try to show people that they can do research as well. So primarily it's an academic audience, but at the same time we receive a lot of general public to the University Museum.
Apart from the exhibition, the museum will also organize thematic talks and screenings of documentaries about Vietnam. The exhibition is expected to be showcased at the NUS Museum for the next 3 years. An exhibition called The Royal Costumes Over the Green Leaves, a collection of royal Ao-dai by Thai Kim Lan, was showcased recently. The event is the first cultural activity in a series marking the 40th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Germany and Vietnam in 2015. These 12 long gowns were worn by queens and members of royalty in Hue, Vietnam's former imperial capital, located in the central province of Trois Tien Hue. They come from the collection of Thai Kim Lan, an overseas Vietnamese in Germany. Thai Kim Lan said currently only very few people know about these customs. Therefore, through her collection, she wants to introduce people to the precious traditional áo dai of Vietnam. Hopefully, these áo dai can also inspire designers to create more beautiful áo dai. In the display, these garments are embedded in an elaborate multimedia installation by German artist Veronica Witt, who creates fictional conversations about preservation, usage, and the meaning of áo dai. Trang Quan Duc, history of culture researcher, said the event is so special. It's a good chance for Vietnamese youngsters to learn about the historical values of the country. The event offered visitors to a chance to learn about the country's history and the beauty of the imperial traditional áo dai. Trang's famous painters created the 3D painting on the walls of the city's historical buildings as a new tourist attraction in the province. The paintings are part of the community services and tourism promotion activities organized by the province under the slogan, "The origin of Para rubber, splendid Sri Trang flowers and beautiful coral reefs." Several three-dimensional paintings depicting the livelihoods of Trang's people, rubber plantations and harvesting techniques, as well as the official flower of the province, were drawn on the empty walls of the Sino-Portuguese buildings in downtown Trang City. Deputy Provincial Governor Nikon Suksai led officials and the public to formally open the displays. After the launch, several tourists and local people were seen taking photos with the beautiful walls. Interested building owners are encouraged to contact the provincial administration for participation in the painting activity. Thailand's northeastern province of Surin has organized a lively and fun buffalo contest in the National Agricultural Fair 2015. The annual National Agricultural Fair 2015 at Surin has the aim to support the farmers to breed more traditional buffaloes. Many farmers with 88 buffaloes attended the buffalo contest. The event was full of fun. The rules of this contest specify 6 categories of buffaloes. That is 3 categories for female buffaloes and another 3 for male buffalo. The winner reward was 3,000 baht. The first runner-up reward was 2,000 baht and the second runner-up reward was 1,000 baht with certificates. World-class hotels, resorts and other travel destinations. These are just a few of Philippines and nearby countries' pride showcased at the first Asia Premium Travel Mart launched by a local travel agency in cooperation with the Department of Tourism. Domingo Ramon C. Enerio III, Chief Operating Officer, Tourism Promotion Board, tell us more about the Travel Mart.
The first Asia Premium Travel Mart has been organized by the private sector with the support of the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Promotions Board. And it specifically promotes the Philippines as well as Asia for premium travel.
The 3-day business-to-business tourism event was attended by hundreds of international buyers from 13 countries, including luxury travel retail counselors, incentive travel managers, bespoke travel planners, corporate travel professionals and wholesalers, specializing in luxury and experimental tours.
The highlight would be the 3-day B2B sessions where I think as many as 100 buyers from the Philippines and the rest of the world will meet with something like 80 sellers from all over the Philippines as well. What happens in these kinds of events that it brings to focus the numbers of wonderful destinations, resorts, facilities and services that are on offer here in the country. And while this is an event where negotiations are undertaken between buyers and sellers, ultimately what we want to see is that buyers and sellers will agree to work together and to develop a partnership and to generate business for one another. And ultimately, this will mean more tourists coming to the Philippines for premium luxury.
Exhibitors from famous travel destinations of ASEAN member states, such as Thailand and Malaysia, were also present.
So in Sabah, our first and foremost tourism products will be in nature, wildlife, and also adventure. So most people would come to Sabah for all these three aspects. We also have luxurious product, luxury resorts for the high-end group. So we cater to all sorts of group, from luxury to budget travelers.
This kind of activity is a huge opportunity for participating countries to showcase the beauty of their country, which has been contributing to the growth of Asia's tourism industry.
And hopefully not the last time. And we hope to see it happen in the years to come, much bigger and much greater participation.
Asia Premium Travel Mart is also a momentous chance for the Philippines to build stronger relations with the nearby nations, and lastly, to let the world know how beautiful the country is. In an effort to raise the public's awareness on new local brands which specialize in Muslimah clothing, the Brunei Muslimah fashion designer group BFASH collaborated with El Rico Digital and Multimedia Company to organize a Brunei Islamic Fashion Exhibition, or BFEX, for the first time in the country. The exhibition was officiated by Datin Paduka Haja Adina binti Othman, the Deputy Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports. The launching ceremony was held at the International Convention Centre in Barakas. Some 38 stalls displayed Muslimah fashion lines, jubah for men, tudung or headscarves, shoes, accessories, as well as wedding dresses. Northern Rice Research Centre has produced the new rice species that take less time and less water to grow, which is good for farmers during the drought. Pitsanulok Rice Research Centre successfully produced this new species called Gorkor 61 that was created to help farmers during the drought. Farmers can grow more rice with less water, and they can grow this rice in flood season as well. This rice has tall trunk structure and takes only 90 days to grow, and the yield is at least 1 ton per 0.50 acre. Furthermore, this kind of rice is resistant to the pest, juiced sucker, or bacteria that cause blight, etc. Pitsanulok Rice Research Centre is producing this rice and will distribute it to farmers who want to cultivate this kind of rice.